We know that they're terrified of sex. The Levites are afraid of sex. Like, they are not open in that way. They're very repressed, right? If their daughters sleep around a bit, they're going to burn them alive. Hey folks, welcome to Joel Reads Bible. I'm Joel and I read Bible so that you don't have to. We're reading Deuteronomy, and it is a book of the Bible that has chapters and verses, and we're reading them. So that's all you really need to know. Okay, fine, you caught me. I am reacting to them as well. And we're at Deuteronomy chapter 17. That's right, we're plowing right on through. I think we may be in this chapter getting over the hump. So it's kind of hump day, and look, let's finish reading the Bible, you and me, but then we'll dump it, okay? And in all other ways, we're dumping it, right? We're dumping the dogmatic belief in the cult, right? Unless, once we get to Joshua and Judges and all the rest of them, in those books, God reveals himself through his word, and we all become Christians. I mean, that is the other option. But one of the problems is we're not reading with the Holy Spirit. Darn it! We're not reading with the Holy Spirit. What a huge mistake. How am I ever going to come to a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ if I'm not reading with the Holy Spirit? Oh my goodness. Why did I even start this project? To totally bash Christianity? To prove it wrong or something? That's not right. That's not the way the magic is supposed to work. I have to believe it first. Then it will make sense. Why did I think I could read it and have God reveal himself through the... What was I thinking of? Where was my mind at? Anyway, you're going to want to stay tuned to the end of the chapter because I'm going to tell you what I loved about it, and not just that. For contrast, I'm going to tell you what I loathed about it, because to be honest with you, if I didn't tell you what I loathed about it, you wouldn't understand what I mean when I said I loved something about it, because the only way you know good is if there's evil. The only way you know evil is if there's good. The only way you know what love is if you know what loathed is. There's no way at all, ever, in any sort of circumstance, ever, that you could just know the one thing and then you would like understand what's happening with the one thing if it weren't for contrast. And that's probably true. Unproven, but certainly something you would want to hold to if you're a Christian, just so that you can get out of certain problems of suffering, pitfalls. It's good to hold those views to keep yourself in the cult. Stay blind. Stay blind, everyone. I'm going to start a Christian channel. And I'm just going to be like, stay blind, everyone. These are blinders. Let's get into Deuteronomy chapter 17. You shall not sacrifice to Yahweh your God an ox or a sheep in which is a defect or anything evil. Okay. Whoa. What? Whoa. What? First verse. I don't know why it was messing around so much at the beginning of this chapter. I didn't realize what a bombshell would be dropped like right out of the gate. There's evil in animals? What could be evil about an animal? What evil? I was under the impression that evil was like some sort of like a free will choice of a human being, that like I would actively choose to do something that is evil. But apparently there can be evil in an animal. There's this theory that evil is just like the privation of good. It's like anything that doesn't have good in it is evil. So once the good is taken out, their evil is there. You have a sheep, and the sheep is good. What of the sheepness has to be taken out? What goodness in the sheep has to be taken out that it becomes evil? Like it poops too much. Like, what is it? It's too loud when it bleats. What is, I don't know what it would be. Does it just like push other sheep out of the way or like fight with sheep? That's so weird. Like, what is evil? Are weeds evil? Like, when a weed grows, is that evil? I'm curious. Are thorns and thistles evil? It would be really difficult for me to be like, a sheep that wants to run away from being shorn is evil. Like, I don't know what that would look like. And I feel like that diminishes everything else that you say is evil when you say there's an evil sheep. But whatever, the Bible, it has its own words for things. For it is an abomination to Yahweh your God. We don't know what holy is. Now we also don't know what evil means. If there is found among you within any of your gates which Yahweh your God gives you a man or woman who does that which is evil in Yahweh your God's sight in transgressing his covenant, and has gone and served other gods and worshipped them, or the sun, or the moon, or any of the stars of the sky, which I have not commanded, and you are told you have heard of it, then you shall inquire diligently. Behold, if it is true, and the thing certain, that such abomination is done in Israel, then you shall bring out that man or that woman who has done this evil thing to your gates, even that the same man or woman and you shall stone them to death with stones. Okay, this person, man or woman, that can do something evil, so breaking any of the laws. So this is an action. So evil is an action. It's not so much like a privation of doing good actions. It's not a taking away of like doing just the good thing. It's actually like transgressing the covenant. So stealing, murdering, something like that. And most importantly, because we don't really mention any of the other laws, but serving other gods, worshiping them, or the space, being an astrologist. So we start understanding what this evil actually looks like. So are sheep worshiping other gods now? Like, is that what's happening? Are the sheep like, you just know, are you stargazing? Are you worshiping the Big Dipper? Like, what is that? Are they transgressing the law? Wait a second, who's that sheep? That sheep's having sex with his daughter-in-law. That sheep's having sex with his daughter-in-law. That's an evil sheep. That sheep's wearing mixed fabrics. No, that's just wool. Are you sure? Yeah. Are you sure? Okay, I thought it was mixed fabrics. You're right, that is just... No, there's a piece of straw in it. That's not fabric. Yeah, I guess I'm being sensitive. But like, what is an evil sheep? By the way, what irony. You would wish you were a sheep if you were doing something evil, because the sheep that does evil doesn't get to be killed, right? If you're an evil sheep, you live longer. But if you're an evil person, God kills you right away. Is that fair? Is that fair? Wait a second. I'd rather be a sheep than I can get away with all the sweet, sweet evil that I wanted to do. Like shaving my beard. Ooh, wait a second. I think that's just priests. Like worshiping the moon. I don't know. At the mouth of 2 witnesses or 3 witnesses, he who is to die shall be put to death. At the mouth of 1 witness, he shall not be put to death. Now, one thing that is really important to note, and this is something we've started seeing, it's not in every passage. If you have heard of this thing and you inquire diligently, so it's saying like, you have to look into this. And if it is true, now we're going to stone them to death. Don't just do it. Like, you have to really look deeply into it. And I think when it comes to like charging somebody with murder or convicting somebody of murder, you actually have to have like 2 witnesses. It requires a lot of people to make sure that they say, this definitely happened. I shouldn't say a lot, 2. That's not that many. But when we go further into the book, keep that in mind, that if we don't get that in the passage, then they might be a little bit more liberal with how much evidence they need. So, like if it's just present the bloody sheet or don't present the bloody sheet, but we're not going to be too sensitive about it. If we don't have a bloody sheet, then we're stoning the woman on her wedding night type of thing. We haven't gotten there yet. I'm just giving you a little bit of a heads up, a little bit of a foreshadowing. The hands of the witness shall be first on him to put him to death, and afterward the hands of all the people. So you shall remove the evil from among you. I wouldn't want to come forward as a witness. If somebody was like, in their tent, I was walking by and I hear like, and moon, big, beautiful, pockmarked moon. Oh, I love you, moon. I want to worship you, moon. And I think you're made out of cheese, and I love cheese. Yes, and bring us your cheese. Cheese us, dear Lord Moon. Cheese us, moon. Jesus. I would be like, I think he's worshiping the moon, but I don't want to tell anyone about I don't want to stone him. Like, I don't want to throw a rock at this guy. Maybe if someone else notices, and then I'll be like the third witness, and I'll just you guys first, and I'll just not really put my heart into it. I don't want to kill a guy, especially over worshiping the moon. Worship the moon if you want. Who cares? Dance around in the moonlight. Dancing in the moonlight. If there arises a matter too hard for you in judgment between blood and blood, between plea and plea, between stroke and stroke, between matters of controversy within your gates, then you shall arise and go up to the place which Yahweh your God chooses. What is this? Between blood and blood, plea and plea, stroke and stroke. It seems like this is like he said, she said. That's why we would say that these days. He said, she said. He killed me and then I killed him back. Or, they killed my brother that killed, it's just maybe it's just harder, difficult things to sort of sort out, right? It's man, this isn't a straightforward one. What's going to happen? This person is claiming that their baby is their baby, but it's the other woman's baby. They rolled over and then killed their baby. What are we going to do? Let's bring them to someone wise. But let's see what these guys suggest. You shall come to the priests who are Levites and to the judge who shall be in those days. You shall inquire, and they shall give you the verdict. You shall do according to the decisions of the verdict which they give you from that place which Yahweh chooses. You shall observe to do according to all they shall teach you. So I love that the Levites are always just sneaking themselves into positions of power and authority. You're like, yep, and it'll be us and a judge. We're going to have just a random judge guy. But the Levites are kind of going to be weighing in on it, and letting you know how they feel about it. And they'll give a verdict and then just do whatever they say. According to the decisions of the law which they shall teach you, and according to the judgment which they shall tell you, you shall do. You shall not turn away from the sentence which they announce to you, to the right hand nor to the left. The man who presumptuously in not listening to the priest who stands to minister there before Yahweh your God, or to the judge, even that man shall die. So I guess it's saying that if you don't follow what the judge and the priest say, you'll be killed. They are the final authority on whatever the issue is that you bring to them. You come to them and you say, what are we going to do about this? And they go, well, that guy's in the right. And you go, give him back his stuff. It's no. All right, fine. We're going to kill you then. Okay, fine. Oh, yeah, okay, that's fine then. Okay, that's a harsh punishment. That's a harsh punishment for not listening to a judge or priest. You do what you're told, or you will be killed. You shall put away the evil from Israel. So not obeying a priest when they make a judgment call is evil. Do sheep do that? Do sheep do that? All the people shall hear and fear and do no more presumptuously. When you've come to the land which Yahweh your God gives you and possess it and dwell in it and say, I will set a king before me like all the nations that are around me, you shall surely set him whom Yahweh your God chooses as king over yourselves. You shall set a king over you, one from among your brothers. You may not put a foreign king over you who is not your brother. Only he shall not multiply horses to himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt, to the end that he may multiply horses. Because Yahweh has said to you, you shall not go back that way again. He shall not multiply wives to himself, that his heart not turn away. He shall not greatly multiply to himself silver and gold. I think Solomon's going to have a lot of wives, isn't he? Isn't Solomon going to be a king with a lot of wives? We'll wait for that. We'll wait for that to happen. We're not going to assume any of that stuff yet, but this is the first mention of a king. So that's pretty significant. That's interesting. I'm just going to not speak in any sort of I don't know anything about kings. I think there are things about kings that are going to be coming up, and it's probably handy to know these are the laws regarding kings. Yahweh is saying, you are the guys that are saying, I am going to give myself a king. So I, the people of Israel, I am choosing for there to be a king. I want there to be a king like all these other nations have kings. So let's have a king. This is something that maybe these people might decide in the future. We'll see. This may be a little bit of exposition or, again, foreshadowing. And also this could be referencing that they have kings, right? And Moses could be representative of that king. Moses is the king of this story. There's a bunch of Levites, which are representing the people that are coming up with the cult, right? The theocracy part of it. I don't know why I keep on saying theocracy. It sounds like democracy, but I don't know if there's an acrosy part of it. Theotatorship. I think that's probably more like what is happening. I don't know that they vote. I don't think anyone voted for Yahweh. So I don't think there's a democracy element to it. I think it's just it's a cult. But so in this moment, it seems like the Levites or whoever the holy people are sort of making up rules for the king. So who's really in charge? The king or the priests? And the king can't hoard gold, sell his people to another nation as slaves, can't have all sorts of wives. It seems like the Levites are this is the way we want this to be. We're going to try to control this a little bit. We know that they're terrified of sex. The Levites are afraid of sex. They are not open in that way. They're very repressed, right? If their daughters sleep around a bit, they're going to burn them alive. So they're terrified of sex. They think that you're unclean if you come, right? They're particularly terrified of sex. So they don't want their kings to have a bunch of wives. That's just oh, do not do that. I think that's gross, right? It shall be when he sits on the throne of his kingdom that he shall write himself a copy of this law in a book out of that which is before the Levitical priests. It shall be with him, and he shall read it all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear Yahweh, his God, and keep all the words of this law and these statutes and do them, that his heart not be lifted up above his brothers, and that he not turn away from the commandment to the right hand, nor to the left, to the end that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, and he and his children in the middle of Israel. There's that language again of prolonging his days and having some children. This is a very typical thing of when it comes to promises from Yahweh to the Hebrews. Now, of course, the priests are putting themselves in a position of power by being the ones that are going to write the laws and, create the culture, the God-based culture that will dictate how the king is to behave. That's smart because they can manipulate things from that position, and they can manipulate things from a position of judge and those types of things. So the Levites are very clever, and they're doing a great job when it comes to that. But they're also kind of giving a nice idea, which is possibly selfish. And so we'll kind of explore that a little bit. But they're saying that the king doesn't get to be super rich just because he's king. Doesn't get to be way far up there. He's just another man. He's just like his brothers. Yeah, he leads the country, but he's not super, super wealthy and rich. He's just another guy. But the Levites are super wealthy and rich. So when there is a battle and they bring gold and silver and all those things, it goes to the Levites. Some of the slaves, the prisoners of war, go to the Levites. They don't get an inheritance, but they get a lot of tithes. When you're going to buy back a person that's going to be dedicated to God, the Levites get the shekels, you know what I mean? So you don't have to kill whoever these people are, right? This is something that goes to, it doesn't go to the king. The king's just like one of you guys. He's not like us. He doesn't get all the gold and all the shekels. So as much as on the face of it, it's kind of nice. It's just that he's just one of the people. I like it. Just because the Levitical priests who have written this the whole time, we've always seen that they are fraudsters and they're running a scam and they're taking all of the money and they're taking all of the cattle and everything, and they're being fed and housed and all those things. And just keeping that in mind, I think they may be pulling another fast one. Well, look, folks, that was another chapter. For sure it was. Absolutely was. It had more verses and it was a chapter. We read verses and it was definitely a chapter of the Bible. And what did I love about it? Sheep can be evil. I really love that. I have watched that stop motion Wallace and Gromit thing, and they've got an evil penguin in it that they think is a chicken because he wears that glove on his head. That's funny, and I think that they're doing a little bit of that here. They have talking donkeys and evil sheep or oxen, which is fantastic. I love that. This is very imaginative. It's cute. It's fun. It's quite the fantasy fairy tale sort of story, and I love that in one of these fantasy novels. So, did I say novels? What did I loathe about it? I loathe the continual manipulation of the Levitical priesthood on these poor, innocent, barbaric Hebrews. Come on, guys. I think they're causing a lot of the problems, by the way. But that is something that I would say, yeah, I loathe that. I'm going to loathe it. I'm going to put that on the loathe bin. I don't think that's a good thing. Well, that's another chapter. Guys, if you haven't subscribed, please do that. Please be doing that. Like the video, comment on it even. Yeah, that'd be nice. And we will indeed see you in the next one. Au revoir.